I'm paying attention to what the Cardinals are doing. I'm not paying attention to what anybody else is doing. And I see they're still 4.5 games back of the wild card. And it's just one of those, it's like, son of a bitch. Like, if you would have went and taken care of business in Seattle, like,
or against the Rockies, or against the Pirates,
but I'm just talking like instant, right here, coming off a successful homestand, and you go to Seattle, and I guess, it's you're looking for all these minor victories. At least I am right now in what to build forward in. The Mariners are a good team. The Mariners are a team that nobody's going to want to face come postseason play. And you didn't get blown out in those games. You didn't get embarrassed. Your starting pitchers went out there and did their jobs for the most. I mean, really, you look at it. 4 runs, 5 runs, 4 runs. And yesterday was a 13-inning game. Pitching was there for you. And we talked about this as we previewed the series. Like, the Mariners have good pitching. They do. And you weren't able to score more than 3 runs against them in any of those games. So it's frustrating. And now I'm ready for you to tell me about how they can catch the Brewers or something.
I mean, I already made my pitch the last time we were on a show together, but you're right. Against a team like the Mariners, if you score 3, you got to hold them to 2. And scoring 3 is a tough ask with that rotation that they've built up. The Brewers have been surging. We talked about this off air. They have been one of the best teams in baseball since the All-Star break. 33-18 in 51 games. They're carrying a 3.57 team ERA, scoring just over 5.5 runs per game. I mean, those are big numbers for a 51-game sample size. And they're a team that really controls their own destiny. They look like not just the best team in the Central, not just the best team in the National League. They look like the best team in baseball. And time again, we've talked about the Brewers, team that wins their division and then sometimes gets bounced from the wild card. That's not what I think we're going to see from the Brewers this year. They're hungry. They're ready to attack. And the Cardinals, with all of the question marks around their personnel, this could be a very dangerous weekend if things don't line up right.
Yeah, I still, though, see them as a team that's going to get bounced. It looks like they are going to have a first-round bye. So it does look like they are going to make it on to the divisional series, which might even be a worse thing for the Brewers, because in that case, you're going to get a team that has that momentum, that's coming off winning a few games while they're just sitting around waiting. So I think that's something that they definitely don't need when it comes to their postseasons of past and trying to get over that hump with that. I still, you and Claves were talking about it the other day. Like, you just look at this roster and, you're like, oh, they don't have that guy anymore. Wait, they have that? No, they don't have that guy. Like, you kind of look through it and you're like, how the hell are they winning baseball games? And at some point, the Cardinal Devil magic transferred over to Milwaukee.
Well, the Brewers are now becoming the gold standard of how to run your organization, developing through your minor league system and then signing cost-effective free agents that turn out to pay dividends for your team. Like I said to Claves the other day, they're like the new Tampa Bay Rays. They scout well, they develop well, and they keep their payroll pretty low, but you wouldn't know it by the way that they perform on the field. Now, let's take the magnifying glass away from the Cardinals here. And I know that this is called Card Central 365 for a St. Louis-based company. I want to talk about the National League and the wild card at large. How hot is the seat for the New York Mets? I mean, they have not played good baseball. They have not played average baseball. They have played really bad baseball for the better part of about 2.5 weeks, and they've allowed 2 or 3 teams to get within striking distance.
I mean, you also talk about it with an owner who is the richest owner in all of professional sports, where current contracts be damned. It doesn't matter if you have to, pay one manager when you go out and you hire a better manager. And as of right now, I don't know who the hot managerial candidates might be in all of baseball. I haven't dug into that deep enough yet, because I mean, here in St. Louis, I don't think Ollie should go anywhere, but and if that were to be the case, I think everybody knows who choice A and choice B would be to fill that slot. But as far as the Mets go, I really do think, I mean, not only postseason, but man, you got to make it into that divisional round, right? At least make it into that divisional round, because you just spent how much money to go out there and acquire Juan Soto. He better be playing on a baseball team in October if that's the kind of money he's going to be making.
Yeah, they assembled this roster to try and win the World Series. Not to mention, they've brought up some players from their minor league system: Jonah Tong, Brandon Sproat, Nolan McLean. 3 guys that have helped bolster a rotation that's been injured, and they haven't skipped a beat. They have pitched pretty well by and large. Now, this is a team that is designed to win the World Series. If they don't do that, I don't know what the uproar is going to look like. I know it's going to be loud because it's a New York sports team. Those fans are passionate, and certainly they expect results after the Mets, who last year were kind of left for dead and then found a way to get to the NLCS. They got better. And to see them kind of backpedaling and swirling, that has got to be such a difficult position, because you're in year 1 of 15 with Juan Soto, and this is not a bad baseball team, but it's a baseball team that should be winning their division. It's a baseball team that shouldn't be just 2 games ahead of the 3rd wild card spot.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, Juan Soto was putting up the career best numbers on the year. How much blame, though, can you put on a manager? And how much blame are we giving Carlos Mendoza? Are we giving anybody else in that organization for some of the troubles that they've had? When you look at Ryan Helsley's numbers since he went to New York, how that's not on a GM. That's not on a manager. Like, that's on Ryan Helsley. that is 100% on him, because they went out there and they got one of the best arms at the trade deadline, and he's gone to New York and completely fallen apart. So in a way, like, I think you look at it big picture with that. And I don't think that, again, I mean, Carlos Beltran, like, is that a name that maybe you look at out there? Like, you give him that second chance to get that job again? Or is there somebody else that's a possibility that would be able to handle the being the manager of the New York Mets?
It's a great question, and one that we'll have to get to a little bit later on. A quick reminder that this show is powered by Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Card Central 365, Joe Roderick, Stefan Caray here with you. And the Mets, I think there are pressures that come with being a New York sports team. There are pressures that come with being a Philadelphia sports team. Those metropolitan cities, the fans are ruthless. They certainly hold their team accountable, sometimes to a fault. And I think that there are pressures that exist there that don't exist in St. Louis or Milwaukee or Chicago that sometimes impacts players. Now, it's just looking at this from a bigger magnifying glass. Fans are clamoring to the idea in St. Louis that you need to go spend a ton of money in order to make a good team. I typically agree with that point, right? You got to spend money to make money. You got to spend money to go out and field a team with stars, or you've got to develop really well like the Brewers have. However, if that's your logic, we need to go spend as much money as possible, and you pay contracts out to the wrong guys. Not to suggest the Mets have done that, but certainly teams in the past have. That's a dangerous, dangerous thought. It's a cautionary tale, certainly, for this offseason.